As I was looking at the islands from the deck of the ferry leaving Kvanasund, I thought about how little they must have changed since the first Vikings came here in the 9th century. I wonder what they must have felt as they saw rocks poking out of the ocean. Did they know they would find land, or were they dumbfounded? And just how surprised they were to find some Irish monks who have bested them by 300 or even 500 years. Oh yes, Irish monks. While I was researching the islands and Iceland before them, I often read they were the first settlers on the archipelago. There are barley fields and peat coal pits to prove it, found on the islands of Sandoy. Turns out that Celtic monks wanted to follow in the footsteps of Middle East Christians who, like Jesus, were searching for God in the desert. Irish monks didn't have any deserts available, so they chose to roam across the mysterious ocean. That's how they happened to find many unknown places. On the ferry, besides the crew and a dog with 2 different irises, there's Kinga Esteland. Born in Gdańsk, studied Scandinavian culture and massage therapy, also a traveler and a painter. She's been living on the islands for 9 years, with small breaks.
Znajdujemy się właśnie pod pokładem promu pasażerskiego Ritan, który bezpiecznie, mam nadzieję, dowiezie nas na Fugloy. Po drodze jeden przystanek czeka nas jeszcze na Swójnoj, ale ekspresowo zabieramy śmieci, wydajemy im pocztę i płyniemy dalej prosto na Fugloy. Jak widać, nie jest łatwo dotrzeć na wyspy zewnętrzne, ponieważ charakteryzują się one znaczącą odległością, więc często jedynym sposobem, żeby na nie dotrzeć, jest albo prom, albo helikopter. Także pogoda nam dzisiaj nie sprzyja, nie jesteśmy nawet do końca pewni, czy dopłyniemy i nie jesteśmy pewni, czy wrócimy, a przynajmniej czy wrócimy dzisiaj z tej wyprawy.
Before, there were 2 underwater tunnels connecting the largest islands. Ferries were the main way of transportation. Ritan is the smallest of them, carrying people, food, mail, fuel for a small power plant, and taking back some trash. That is, if the weather allows it. As I reached the archipelago, I quickly realized that it's the weather calling all the shots here. I experienced this in Chiszcza, where even getting off the ferry poses a real challenge, not to mention unloading the cargo from the ferry. I'm starting to understand why people in Fugloy often have several fridges.
Kocham to miejsce dlatego, że pokazuje taką prawdziwą izolację w XXI wieku, gdzie wydaje się, że wszystko już jest takie zglobalizowane i wszystko możemy zrobić przez internet i możemy wszystko kupić przez internet i zamówić i tak dalej. To jednak przyjeżdżając na Fugloy każdorazowo widzę, że globalizacja nie dociera wszędzie. Nie wita mnie tam wielki baner jakiejś marki, ani jakiś supermarket, tylko 15 domów, w których mieszka 6 osób. I naprawdę robi to na mnie ogromne wrażenie. Kiedyś pamiętam, mój znajomy, którego zabrałam na Fugloy, taki zniesmaczony, popatrzył na te domki i mówi: Kinga, gdzie ty mnie przywiozłaś? Co tu w ogóle można robić? A ja popatrzyłam na niego z politowaniem i mówię do niego: żyć. W czasie największego rozkwitu wyspy mieszkało tu prawie 200 osób. Aktualnie, według rocznika statystycznego, na luty 2018 roku mieszka tu tylko 38 osób, z czego połowa to tylko martwe dusze posiadające tutaj swój adres. Wynika to z tego, że Fugloy stanowi odrębną jednostkę administracyjną, czyli jest to gmina, i to z najlepszymi warunkami do życia. Najniższe podatki, największe benefity dla osób z dziećmi. A mimo to chętnych do zamieszkania w tym pięknym miejscu brak. Populacja zmniejszyła się z racji tego, że nie ma tu sprzyjających warunków do uprawiania rybołówstwa, ponieważ wszędzie dookoła wyspy mamy bardzo strome skały. Tak więc większość Fuglojczyków przeniosła się na farerski mainland.
The weather is so bad we are not sure if our helicopter ride home can even land. Kinga arranges for one of the locals to give us a ride on the back of his pickup truck to a nearby helipad. There we meet Amalia, the mayor of Island Smallest commune.
Znajdujemy się już we wsi Czyszcza i tak jak wspominałam, Fugloj stanowi odrębną jednostkę administracyjną. Jest tu ze mną burmistrz całej gminy Amalia Ojframystową, która już od wielu lat jest burmistrzem, więc zapytamy się, ile lat tu mieszka i co tu robi i tak dalej. Amalia, hallo.
Hej, god dagen!
Hoe så långt har du bo av Fugle?
Nästan allt mitt liv som är truschar.
Okej, och du är borgmästare?
Ja.
Okej, och vad dammar till bäst av Fugle?
Men dama bäst alla fåglarna som är.
Okej,
Yes, ja. Ja.
Och hur så ofta färs du alltså till Havnar, eller Klaxvikar, eller...
Nu är min man, jag har varit öjna för i havn i år.
Okej, så du är faktiskt här?
Ja. Ja.
Okej, vad händer? Vad händer här?
Nej, det händer inte det stora. Det är inte nej fullt, men man har kreatur och ja, och så det fallet som är det. Jag har en gammal pappa så vi bygger samman.
Ja. Och vad kan man göra av fåglar? Det där tjejligt vävor. Akkurat som nu, som i det. Vad kan man göra här?
Nej, det är inte vad jag gör, utan det är så bra Louis.
Okej. Ja, men tusen tack för det och allt det bästa och ha det gott.
Two outsiders carrying cameras quickly became news among the island's few inhabitants. An older man appears, offering to let us in a small church he is in care of.
Chwilę wytchnienia od farerskiego sztormu łapiemy w tym oto kościele, od którego miejscowość Czyszcza wzięła swoją nazwę, ponieważ Czyszcza to po farersku nic innego jak właśnie kościół. Za mną przepiękny ołtarz autorstwa jednego z najwybitniejszych farerskich malarzy, Samala Joensena z wyspy Mykines. Kolejnym bardzo typowym elementem tutaj są łodzie, które wiszą pod sufitem. Jest to stały element wyposażenia i dekoracji każdego kościoła i oczywiście odnosi się bezpośrednio do żeglarzy i rybaków.
We are notified that the chopper will pick us up after all. Amalia, besides being a mayor of Fugloj, operates a small helipad. Traveling by helicopter is very common here. It's co-founded by the government, so the tickets are relatively cheap. For a brief moment we can still see Hatavik before ascending in the fog. The Faroe Islands, an autonomous province of Danish kingdom. Their terrain does not seem too habitable. Tall cliffs, steep mountains, dangerous fjords, very few trees, narrow valleys, strong currents between the islands, strong winds, storm and rain pouring for almost 300 days each year. If you put it this way, living here does not seem to be very tempting. Still, 17 out of 18 islands are inhabited. For hundreds of years, most Faroese villages were either very far apart or separated by tall mountains and lack of roads. Rough weather can make sailing or hiking impossible for weeks in a time. Therefore, each village had to be completely independent. Karl Johann van Graba, a German traveler who visited the islands in 1822, described the Faroese as intelligent and resourceful people who are forced to learn many trades. They are open towards foreigners and love to gain knowledge by reading. They have very strong morals, and even though no one locks their doors, there isn't any theft. He added that he would rather talk all day with a Faroese farmer than spend half an hour with a German landowner. Until the 20th century, most Faroese people spent their entire lives without leaving their villages. There were exceptions, such as the people of Saxon who crossed the mountains every Sunday in time for the Mass in Chatnavoik. Until 1858, the church was taken apart and moved to Saxon, where it stands to this day. Later, as the fishing trade became more common, the cities flourished. Many of the Faroese left their small villages, often keeping them as summer homes, like Jekv, which is almost inaccessible in winter, but just like Fugloy, it still has some permanent residents. The small village of Müller, on the island of Borøy, suffered a most dramatic fate. Even though it had had electricity since 1950, it was completely abandoned as soon as it was connected by roads. It's no wonder that most of the Faroese people inhabit the capital city. Tórshavn, the Thor's Harbour, is Europe's smallest capital city. It's inhabited by around 13,000 people, which is roughly 1/3 of the country's entire population, slightly over 50,000 people. Tórshavn's architecture and attractions can be compared to any of other Scandinavian capitals. There are museums, parks, restaurants, hotels, and even the remnants of a fort, which once was a defense against pirates. I'm most curious about its oldest part, the Tinganes Peninsula, known as the Government District. It was here when the Vikings met and traded with each other as early as 1825. I'm wondering how impactful were those first meetings, evolving into one of the world's first parliaments. Claudia came here for a student exchange, but decided to stay and work as an architect. While we were strolling around Tinganes, she told me how the Faroese built their houses to survive extreme weather.
Farerska architektura charakteryzuje się ciemną elewacją drewnianą z jasnymi, zwykle białymi framugami, a także zielonym dachem, który zwykle koszony jest przez farerskie owieczki. Co ciekawe, to założenie, właśnie znajdujemy się w typowo charakterystycznym, typowo farerskim założeniu urbanistycznym, gdzie te miniaturowe domki otulają dziedziniec, który jest w pewien sposób chroniony przed wiatrem, przed złymi warunkami atmosferycznymi. Może wydawać się, że budynki w Tinganes są bardzo podobne do siebie, ale mimo to mieszkańcy znaleźli swój sposób, jak spersonalizować swoje ogródki, swoje wejścia. To jest jeden z takich lepszych przykładów. Rozwój turystyki również wpłynął na to miejsce. Lokalni mieszkańcy wyprowadzają się do swoich nowych domów, natomiast te przestrzenie, te malutkie domki w Tinganes są przeznaczone pod wynajem. Zwykle jest to wynajem krótkoterminowy, taki jak Airbnb.
Tinganes is still the home of the government. Here we find ministers, consulates, and even the Prime Minister, who can often be seen and he's going to lunch. My reflection upon the fascinating Tinganes Peninsula is interrupted by the arrival of the island's largest ferry, which is unloading and picking up cargo and will be heading towards one of the outmost islands. There are many tales about the people of Suðuroy. Some say they are descendants of pirates who often raided the island. They speak a different dialect and love their curse words. I had to meet them. The voyage takes 2 hours, but the weather allows us to see other islands on the way. First of them is Sandoy, the flattest one. Next is Stora Daimon, smallest inhabited island. Only 7 people live here. The meat from local sheep is said to be very tasty. The last one is the only uninhabited island, Loitla Daimon. On Suðuroy, I meet Paul Arne Holm, lead vocalist of Týr and Hamradun. This time we won't be discussing music. Instead, we need to address some rumors.
Why Suðuroy is the best island? Good question. Yeah, I think if you ask all the islanders on the Faroe Islands, they will say their island is the best. And I will say Suðuroy is the best for me. I think we have almost everything, even if we're not as big as the capital. But I think basically we have everything we need, and the people here are also great. They are like they count too, the people here. Yeah. If you asked a foreigner, I don't think they could see a difference. But we are a bit different. We talk a bit strangely or different. We use other words than the rest of the Faroe Islands that they don't use. We swear a lot, and we are like famous for on the Faroe Islands getting angry very fast, but we don't mean it that bad. It's just a way of being. Some say it's because we're all pirates and we're descendants of pirates, but that's not true. Why it is like that, I don't know. Studies have shown that genetically all Faroe Islanders are 80% Norwegian, and 60 to 70% of the women have the same gene mass as in Ireland and north of Scotland. So the picture 1,000 years ago with a Viking, Norwegian Viking with a woman on his back, that's quite true. Yeah, I think they are very capable of staying alive here, and everybody, almost everybody on the Faroe Islands has its own sheep. You have almost everybody having their own boats, catching their own fish. So yeah, they are good to survive, because they've done it for years, and the traditions are inherited all the time. So yeah, you have to be tough to live here. The winter is long and dark and windy and rainy, but we are positive. We are waiting for, the perfect summer. We have waited for 1,000 years, and we're still waiting. So maybe it will come. The most Faroese people, almost everybody has a relation to the sea, the ocean. It's what we see every day we wake up. It's the ocean, and it's kind of shapes us also. And you talked about tough conditions living here, and you don't have to go longer back to like before Second World War, and there were many accidents on sea, and there were villages where every man in the working age died on the sea, often with the same boats, and villages were left just with women and children and old people. So it has deeply affected us, and if you read the history, you can go longer back. Some storms caused that, hundreds died in one storm on the sea with such a low population. It has been extremely hard to live here.
The Atlantic Ocean. Throughout the archipelago, we've never more than 5 kilometers away from it. there are few countries as dependent on the ocean as the Faroe Islands. It's no surprise that since 19th century, fishing has been the focus of the economy and people's main source of income. Today, it's 95% of all export and half of the GDP. Years of fighting the elements mean a lot of experience for Faroese fishermen. Thanks to this fishing trade, local women had a chance to find work on land in fish factories. Asbjørn Lumaklet will tell us about the humble beginnings of the Faroese fishing fleet.
My name is Asbjørn Lumaklet, and I was born in 1940 on the 18th of November. And I was born here on the hospital of Klaksvík. But I grew up in a small village on Kalsoy called Syðradalur. I got the end of that old kind of fishing. I was 2 years with such a ship, a sloop or smack or skutu, which Icelanders called it. So I know about it. I know how it was. And I was 17 years when I started fishing with this old ship. And I was an average fisherman. I got about 2,500 fish each trip. While the best fishermen, they got 5,700. Usually there were about 20 men on each sloop. So, and they were fishing with hand lines. They were standing in a row on the ship, on the left side of the ship, and each man was fishing there. And they were only paid for how many fish they caught themselves. They used to say, if you were fishing and if you were thinking about anything else than fish, you couldn't catch fish. You must think about fish all the time while you were fishing. It's just as there was a message sent down on the bottom to the fish. Bite on this hook. I'm very happy to have been part of that. It was very interesting. But I would not like to use my life for that kind of work, because it was hard work and very poor conditions on board. There was no privacy at all. And there was very, very little water on board, so it was not possible to wash. So that was a very primitive kind of fishery. So luckily it ended at that time. So, but I would have continued to be a fisherman because I liked it. If it hadn't been for my eyes, because I'm colorblind. So I could not be officer on the ship. So I was thinking to be a crew member all my life. No. I go ashore, on land. So I went to Teachers College in 1960.
Janus sails on one of the last family-owned fishing boats. Together with his son, they continue the traditions of their ancestors.
Ja, vi färra lugga Svinnehavet som vi säger. Lugga för bo i Svinnöjderna. Så det är inte långt sikt, det är halvtimme eller så går det. Så sätter vi det så löjderna, så hoppar vi där vid några fiskar så det så inte ordentligt arbetsgångarna. Så det är ju sin tvåvallingar, ja. Så jag började räcka ut, jag var helt ung, jag började en 16-17 år när jag började. Så var det några år till skips, jag var flämsk kapp. Men så började jag efter för Skiparskolan i 45 6 fort. Så köpte vi bara själva. Jo, vad som. Han bara hade vi det 5 år, men så kom kräkpan ta först i halvfemsten eller ta och vi miste han bara. Men så arbetade jag uppe i landet och center. Men det var käkare som drev så. Så där fiskar kom efter mitt i halvfemsten och ta för jag drömde en annan bara. Och en så man smart hem här i Norrtälje. Inte för halvår så jag köpte vi ända bara själva så jag antar jag har vi drivit ända bara. Ja. Pappa åkte bara till en östnö och det är säkert här där intressen börjar. Han lukar som lovar mig att börja ta i. Det var en 16-17 år. Då började jag faktiskt jobba på östnö. Ja. Han var inte alltid höj, man sitter. Men det är bara lika fint. Det är allt. Och nu är det så sån östnö vi, men jag är tvivlig på att han får att blöva vi. Men så långt som man tar med att inte finna lära också, så får det finnas en lära. Det också ska man göra.
Nej, det är spänningar nu ute. Att det är alltid spännande så man är en voj med, va? Och på en matta. Och det är jo. Man hvis pausen blir för länge på landet så lunch man efter. Det gör man. Nu har just jag har faktiskt inte annat gjort som så man spekulerar ofta om man dårar gärna gamla. Det är som är. Ta minnes av vägras och den ringast, ja? Ja, så den ringast, jag vet inte om jag ska fortälja det här. Den ringast, jag var vid till Eurofemskap, jag björka russar. Jag tror hört om det, Sigfrid. Ja? Ta var jag 16 år. Och russar schackband på sögna och i ordentlig himmelsk ödnavägs. Och vi björka i 5 alloj om våra Sigfrid. Att den hinner förrest. Så det var inte harst att börja självlöv på. Det var bara 16 år. Men gåa det är, ja, det var nekv gåa det är. Det vill säga. Och den första turen vi hos nerbaten, och ta fick vi ett 2000 pund. Och det var i april månad i 2006. Ta var man ordentligt hålligt i fiskarprusen var ordentligt topp da. Och man började så att det är nog en gång. Så det är gå alltså tar det när man får nekva fisk om det är inte baldret väver och så där men det tar man slett inte på att det är några far. Så är det.
This relationship with the ocean and its resources isn't always conducted on a large scale. Easy access to water allows local and foreign visitors to pursue a fishing passion. It's one of the few places where you can fish this close to unpredictable nature.
Farerczycy bardzo często mówią, że ich ogródkiem jest ocean i jakiś czas po przyjeździe na wyspy stał się to również mój ogródek. Chociaż jestem z nadmorza, to nigdy jakoś specjalnie nie łowiłam ryb i bardziej łowienie ryb kojarzyło mi się z kutrami, sieciami, rybakami gdzieś tam na helu siedzącymi. Poza tym w Polsce, z tego co się orientuję, trzeba bardzo dużo różnych pozwoleń i przepustek umożliwiających łowienie. Tymczasem ocean jest tutaj dostępny dla wszystkich, więc nie ma problemu z łowieniem. I właściwie ta pasja rozpoczęła się od pewnego przyjazdu grupy biznesmenów, klientów mojego męża, którzy zażyczyli sobie właśnie wynająć kuter i popłynąć tutaj w rejs pomiędzy wyspami. Złowili ogromne ryby, przepiękne. I dopiero wtedy zdałam sobie sprawę, że to nic trudnego. Wystarczy nauczyć się zarzucać przynętę, czy właściwie samą blachę, a potem wyciągnąć już gotową rybę. Także uwielbiam łowić ryby, oczyszcza to mój umysł. Bardzo często przyjeżdżam na pomost, na Kunoy lub Klaksvík i zdarza się, że przywożę również ze sobą turystów. Szczególnie ludzie z krajów, które nie mają dostępu do morza, potrafią docenić właśnie łowienie tutaj w oceanie.
Jaką największą rybę złowiłaś?
Największą rybę złowiłam dorsza, który miał około pół metra. No tylko wiadomo, dorsz to 1/3 dorsza to głowa. Także nie chwaląc się, ale to była największa ryba.
In Klaksvík, I meet Ewelina Jonsen, a Polish woman living here for 19 years. Ewelina speaks fluent Faroese and is the first Polish person to graduate from Torsan University. Today, together with her husband, who is Faroese, she's raising 2 children while also being a member of the Baptist Church. This allowed her to experience the Faroese life firsthand.
Na Wyspach Owczych wiara ma bardzo duże i ważne znaczenie dla Faryjczyków. I ja to właśnie odczułam tak na własnej skórze, jak tutaj przyjechałam na wyspy. Bo zobaczyłam po prostu taką wiarę, która w taki bardzo naturalny i taki bardzo aktywny sposób objawia się między ludźmi. I zobaczyłam też, że ta wiara jest taka żywa, taka prawdziwa i taka naprawdę, to mnie bardzo zaskoczyło i starałam się dojść do tego, dlaczego to tak się dzieje i dlaczego oni tak właśnie tak płają taką wiarą wielką i na każdym kroku w sumie ta wiara objawiała się w tym drugim człowieku, w ich stosunku do mnie i do otoczenia. Czyli ta wiara jest taka bardzo żywa. I Faryjczycy są bardzo życzliwym narodem. Są bardzo dla siebie życzliwi, uprzejmi i myślę, że też to ma znaczenie. Też to ma pochodzenie takie, że właśnie są ludźmi wierzącymi i dla nich ich system wartości jest właśnie taki, że jednak chcą być dobrzy dla drugiego, nie chcą nikomu krzywdy robić i po prostu kochają, tak normalnie kochają innych ludzi.
In 1537, by the order of the King of Denmark, the Faroese Church converted to Protestantism. Bishops and priests who did not comply were forced to leave. Their place was taken by Danish clergymen who didn't speak Faroese, forcing the church to operate in their language. Soon, Danish dominated the islands. The Faroese language survived thanks to ballads transformed orally for generations.
These ballads are connected to to a certain dance, which we today call the Faroese dance. But it was not invented in the Faroes. It was invented in France in about 1350. So in the Middle Ages, the kings were dancing this dance, and the noblemen, and everybody, also the farmers. And when you join the dance, you become part of a chain, and you get social feelings together with those who dance it. And it's a very, very social dance, because it's not necessary to be invited to come to the dance. You just put your hands between two dancers, they open the chain, you go in. And when you are tired, you just leave it and rest some time, join the dance again. Because the dance is going all the time. When one ballad is finished, somebody starts a new one. So it can continue for hours. These ballads were an oral tradition, so they were not written down. People knew them by heart. And sons were taught by fathers or grandfathers, and daughters from mother or grandmother. Some of them are very long. The longest of them, as I know, is 231 verses. And sometimes we are dancing to these. It will take 1 hour and a half to sing it, to dance through it. But I know people that know all 231 verses. Fantastic. So if we hadn't had all these ballads, and if the Faroese people hadn't been so interested in the ballads, our language would surely have died.
Survival is the most important issue for small nations surrounded by wars, especially when their location brings them to the attention of large fighting powers. You can't avoid all cost of war, but the British Army's decision to station at the islands turned into the opportunity for progress. The friendly invasion brought the Faroese independence and a sense of identity by building an airport on Var and spreading the Faroese flag. The British opposed the Danish flag, as it was under control of the Germans, and as the result, local authorities recognized Mestre as the official Faroese flag. The airport of Var was built close to the British headquarters on the flat terrain, sufficient for a landing strip. Abandoned after the war, it became a commercial airport in 1968. It is now home to the local Atlantic Airways. Surviving and maintaining independence meant that Faroese had to learn many trades. One of those traditional handicrafts was knitting, and uniquely patterned sweaters are still very popular. In the past, a sweater was most important part of fisherman's wardrobe, keeping him warm at sea and helping his woman spot them from afar. No one knows more about this topic than Hallbera. She lives on Sirogata, but her sweaters are known around the world.
Det var tog at foreldrene til meg startet av en odlafabrikk i 1931. Og jeg har så gynnt her alt mitt liv, lykket til 2012, da jeg i fabrikken lukket. At han har tatt for et arbeid som hjemmehjelp, og har vi arbeidet her i 20 år. Men det langtest alle tiden etter at jeg gjør trotser etter, designa og binda. Og så ble jeg til jeg fikk 5 dager siden, hver jeg får at designa trøtjer og binda inni i husene til meg sjølven og seima trøtjene sammen. Og dette er så slite. Jeg gjør unga trøtjer lyka. Jeg gjør nytt design alle tøyene, men i imenskon liten. Og det er mitt arbeid i det. Plus det at jeg har jeg vært arbeid til Øster kommune. Og så gjør jeg dette i fritøyene. Minstene som jeg gjør, det er jeg ganger i naturene. Man damer vel å genge ut i naturene, og her slutter jeg ur luftene, ur sjønnen, ur fjøtlene. Slutter jeg vil ha feie inspirasjoner, og som oftast har jeg så kommet til hus, så gjør jeg et mønster fra det som jeg har sett.
The Faroese are attached to tradition, proud of their roots, sensitive and reflective. They have fought the elements for generations, often paying a high price.
This is blubber. It is salted, and you're gonna try it now. And this is the whale meat. It is hanging up outside and to get dry. As you can see, it's very hard and black. So, but it's smaklig. It's very good.
My name is Hans Jakob Hermansen. I'm 70 years old and been living in the Faroe Islands most of my life. And when it comes to pilot whaling, I've been part of it since I was, for almost 60 years. When we come to the history of pilot whaling, this is a tradition that has been here for as long as people have been living here. This has been going on for centuries of years, and we can date it back to 1584, where we have the first records of pilot whaling, showing where the catch was, how many whales there were, how many kilograms or shin, as we call it, in each catch, and how it was divided to the people in the area. We do it for food, and we do it in the traditional way. We divide it, or in the traditional way also, so it's for everybody in the area, or the same share for everybody participating in the catch. There are strict regulations for how to do it, and these regulations are updated and evaluated all the time. Pilot whaling may seem a bit barbaric, but we try to do it better, to make amendments, and so that it should be not so painful, should a humane way of killing the whales. And if we do so, if we go on killing pilot whales, there are some criteria. That point one, that we should be not an endangered species, that the killing method should be humane, and that it goes for consumption. A fourth thing is that it should be legal, and it is legal according to Faroese legislation. And the only thing that we might consider whether we should take it or not is the question about pollution. So we have to, but that is, people do not agree. Some say we shouldn't eat it, others say that we should, it's good for us. Today we find the killing method is humane, it goes fast. Just last week we had 135 whales that were killed in 10-12 minutes. We have had whales here, 38 whales in 4 minutes in Tórshavn, and that's the whole school of pilot whales. Each individual, when it's okay, is killed in seconds. And we have improved the method. We use the new equipment so that it goes faster and that it is something we can say proud of, or that we can say that this is done as professionally as it can be done anywhere in the world.
This explanation will not be sufficient for everyone. I'm also trying to understand the need to follow this tradition. As a person who has great affection for the Faroese and respect for their ways, but also as someone sensitive to animal suffering and a non-meat eater, I have extremely mixed feelings about Grindadrap. While I don't want to defend Faroe Islanders, the media have done them a disservice by showing only shocking images and often false facts. Near the end of my journey, I felt fascinated by this place and the people I met here. A small, isolated nation, where surviving every day was a struggle, became a strong country with a modern infrastructure, well-kept roads, bridges, tunnels, and even its own airlines. The Faroese live in abundance, and young people who study abroad willfully return to their islands, which for them are the most beautiful place on earth.